on the Nissan NV versus the Ford Transit. And my goal is to do this review from a mother's perspective with a large family. When I was in the market of looking for a large vehicle, what I noticed was there wasn't a lot of reviews for these vehicles from a family standpoint, and then a few that were out there from a family standpoint were done by men. And so I figured, since we as women are going to be the ones driving the vehicle the most, it would be good to kind of have a mother's perspective on these vehicles and kind of our thoughts on how we feel driving them with a large family. So I am going to tell you about the Nissan NV and the Ford Transit. Hey guys, it's Tanya. I am going to show you the Ford Transit now. If you saw my previous review, I did it on the Nissan NV. And so if you're wondering how a person goes from the Nissan NV to the Ford Transit, let me just give you a brief background. So if you saw my review on the Nissan NV, you know that I had a Nissan Quest and then a Nissan Armada, and then we went to the Nissan NV, and now we're at the Ford Transit. So the way we got here was the Nissan NV seats 12, which is great if you're a family of 8 or 10 maybe even. But for us, we are a family of 12. So we have 10 kids, 9 at home. And so with myself and my husband, that makes 11 when we are in the NV. And so when we're in the NV, that leaves one seat and very little trunk space and very little room. So what we noticed is when we took the Nissan NV to Arizona is that we were tight. I mean, we were squeezed in. We had to rent a trailer. The kids were on top of each other. They were complaining that so-and-so was touching them. And it was just like, okay, we need something else. So often I will have my son with me as well as my little brother, and sometimes we will have our niece with us, and they usually will travel with us also. So what we realized is that we were going to have to start renting a vehicle when we went out of town. And who wants to do that when you already have a 12 passenger? So when we started looking at the type of vehicle that we would have to rent when we took vacations, we kept coming up on the Ford Transit, which is the only vehicle that we found that seats 15 with the space that we needed as well. So we tossed up the idea, do we just rent one every time we take a vacation, or do we just go ahead and purchase one? And we decided to upgrade and purchase one. So that's how we got from the Nissan NV to the Ford Transit. For us, it was the space and the amount of seats that sold us on the Ford Transit. So just to kind of start from the front and work my way to the back, the Ford Transit has a V6 turbo boost engine. So unlike the NV, it does not have that V8, which is great for gas mileage. The Nissan NV is a V8 engine, and that drinks gas. EcoBoost, sorry, not Turbo Boost. It's a V6 EcoBoost. It does better on gas. So, and we can already see that difference. We actually purchased this vehicle in Virginia, and so we had to drive it back home, which was about 700 miles for us, and only had to stop twice to fill this bad boy up. So that is great when you think about the type of gas mileage that this was able to do. I believe the Ford Transit gets 15 to 18 miles city, and then like 17 to 20 highway. So a whole lot better than that Nissan NV with that V8 engine. So just looking at the hood, the Transit looks like a minivan. It does. I mean, you see this round hood. It's very European. And I have to admit, when my husband first talked about us purchasing this thing, almost cried, because I love the look of my Nissan NV. It looks and feels like a truck. And when I looked at this, I instantly thought minivan and bus. I often say the Nissan looks like a truck and a van had a baby. This reminds me of a bus and a van having a baby. So if you're into looks and something that's aesthetically pleasing, just depending on your style, this may not be for you, just depending on what you like. So if you notice, it has the smaller grille in the front in comparison to the Nissan NV, a much shorter hood, which is great for parking. So the pro to that is it is a lot easier to park this bad boy with the shorter hood. The Nissan NV is about maybe 2 inches longer than the Ford Transit. However, the Ford Transit is about 2 to 3 inches wider than the Nissan NV. The Ford Transit, you can get it in a standard roof height, so it's going to be the same height as your Nissan NV. You can also go up to a mid roof, which is what we have, and then they also have a high roof. So originally we were going to purchase the high roof, and that high roof, about a 6'1", 6'2", maybe even taller person can literally walk through that thing. So when we looked at the high roof, I mean, we're like, my husband's standing in it and he's like, has his hands up, and there's still like 5 inches of roof space over him. And so it was almost like having a RV, but for a family to drive around. And so I instantly knew I cannot drive this thing to the grocery store. I can't just drive this thing, you know, to a mom's night out, because this is my main source of transportation. So I needed to be a little more realistic. If you have more than one vehicle, you may actually like the high roof if you don't have to drive it all around all the time. It's just a family vehicle. So keep that in mind. You can get 3 options: standard size roof, mid roof, high roof. Nissan NV basic, you're only getting that one standard roof. So let's just go ahead and move to the inside of the vehicle. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start it up just so you can hear the difference between this and the NV. So as you can see, very quiet, very similar to a car. No huge rumble, no serious power in this thing. Let's see if I can kind of, I hear air. Okay, so no serious power. Again, it's the V6 EcoBoost engine in this. So very quiet, very kind of, I don't know the word, but this engine just kind of purrs. The NV rumbles, this just kind of purrs. So just showing you the dash. So this model that we got, we have the XLT model, the 350 XLT. So this is the higher grade model. It comes with a little small screen here. This has your backup camera. In the standard model, the backup camera is going to be in your rear view, which I actually like that feature of it being in your rear view mirror, because you're used to looking in your rear view when you're backing up anyway. The screen here is tiny, very tiny. I do wish that the screen was here like in the Nissan NV, but I guess they figure having your tools here made it a lot easier. So anyway, you have your screen. It's not touch screen. You have 2 cup holders here. You have a cup holder here on the driver's side, and then you have 2 cup holders on the passenger side. So 4 cup holders, no, 6 cup holders in the front seat. The NV has 4 cup holders in the front seat. You also have a little pocket here for your cell phone. However, if you have the iPhone Plus or the Note, it is not fitting in this pocket. I'm like trying to stuff it in here. I don't have it with me, but it's not fitting in this little pocket. So I usually just kind of keep my phone here, which is the cool thing about the Nissan NV, because pretty much all your cell phones fit in that pocket that I showed you guys. This does not have dual heating and air, so if that's a concern for you, keep that in mind. The upgraded model, none of their models come with leather seats. We checked everywhere, and the Transit just does not come with leather seats. So keep that in mind as well. Having kids, this was a fear and a concern of mine. I mean, the seats seem like they're gonna hold up well with my kids, but I mean, I don't know, I'm worried about it. The standard model has like rubber floors, and we were hoping that we could still keep those rubber floors, but when you go up to the upgraded model, you get the, you know, standard carpet. The Bluetooth is all voice control. Yay for that. So you can actually use your Bluetooth while driving for your navigation, to make phone calls and all of that good stuff. So that is a plus in comparison to the Nissan NV that is not voice control. The lights are automatic. Yay for that. You don't have to remember putting on your lights if you're used to just having that automatic. The windshield wipers are rain sensitive, so they automatically come on. Yay for that. As a mother, the least things that we have to remember, thank you. Amen for that. And it has a mirror in the visor. So if you guys saw my review on the NV, you know that that was like a huge complaint for me. So I'm very happy to have my mirror back. Let's just keep talking about storage. You have all of this great storage up here. I was worried that I was going to lose storage going into this because the Nissan did so well on storage. But I have all the storage up here. So I will keep my Eco Baby Wrap up here. When we're traveling, or when we haven't traveled with this, but like if I'm going to the store, I'll keep that up here. I'm sure that I'm going to keep baby wipes, hand sanitizer, and all of that good stuff up here as well. I don't know. I don't know if that stuff is, there's kind of like, you know, grooves to keep it in there. But I do wonder if it's going to be falling out while we're driving. I don't know yet. So, but you do have that great storage for your sunglasses. There's like little rubber grooves to kind of keep those in as well. Your heating and air control for the back. So yeah, that's the front of the vehicle. Oh, and by the way, the seats are manual. So even if you go up to the next model, everything is manual. And so that kind of sucks because you know, you miss your power. And I can't raise my seat up. This is pretty much as high as I'm going to get. Unlike the NV, if you saw my review, I was like raising my seat up to the ceiling. This is, you know, the height of your seat. So all you can do is move it forward and, you know, lean it back. Here's your emergency brake as well for this Transit. But you can, the cool thing is you can adjust your steering wheel. So you can push it in if you're a taller person with longer arms and you prefer to drive like this, or you can pull it out if you're a shorter person and you prefer to drive like this. The steering wheel is a car steering wheel. So unlike the NV that had that nice big truck steering wheel, this steering wheel is the same size steering wheel you will see in a car. So that makes it easier to handle, but at the same time I do miss having my, you know, big huge steering wheel. The Nissan NV has backup sensors, or I'm sorry, the Ford Transit has backup sensors but not front sensors. So I'm a little iffy on that. I think maybe with it having the shorter hood that it's going to be okay, not having the front sensors, but I still feel like I'm going to have to look over and kind of be more aware of my surroundings. But it doesn't have those front sensors like the Nissan NV. Okay, so let me just show you guys the back. The first thing you'll notice different from the Ford Transit from the Nissan NV is this lovely floorboard, which is great for my littles getting in and out of the Transit. However, the con to having this floorboard, if you can see the size of it, is very narrow. So it looks like it's designed for, you know, you to get into the van like this, which most people do not get into a truck or a van or whatever in that kind of manner. So it does have a nice little handrail here for you to hold on to if you see this. However, what I find happening is that when we're getting in and out of this thing is we're trying to get in this way and we're trying to get out like this, and so you end up kind of, so keep that in mind with having that floorboard. While it's great, it would have been nice if it was designed where, you know, it came out and was a little bit wider for the kids to use, because I'm ending up having to catch a lot of my little ones before they fall and bust their head getting in and out of this thing trying to use that floorboard. So, but it does have the floorboard, so that's a good thing. So let me show you guys the inside. So the first thing you'll notice different about the Transit is that I am standing up tall in this thing. As you can see, you are able to stand up. I'm 5'1", and I have a little bit more head space. My husband is 5'7". He has a little head space. My brother is 6'1", and he gets in and he's kind of bent over a little bit, but he's still not like he was in the Nissan NV where he is completely hunched over. So the con to getting the mid-size, the reason we did it was because you guys know as moms, buckling up car seats can be a hassle. So you know, if you're in a car, a truck, a minivan, you're always like this and you're trying to buckle them up and you're like tight. So in this, I'm able to just stand up, buckle everybody up, and it's very easy, very comfortable. So getting into the Transit, you have this walkway and this little aisle space. If you guys want to follow me back here, so you're able, the kids are able to walk back, and they have this little aisle space. You got your 4 rows in the back. Just talking about car seat latches, all of the seats have car seat latches except for these outer 2 and these 2. The rest have car seat latches. So your options with car seats is infinite in this thing. That is a plus, and one of the things that I like about it. So just walking to the back, I'm going to kind of sit down. You can see the space that you have. Again, you have this nice little aisle. The beauty of having this aisle is when everybody's getting out, the kids in the back are able to get out while I am unbuckling the kids in the front. So it's not like in the NV where they're having to wait for me to unbuckle, or I'm having to wait for them to get out before I can get to my ones in the front. And you guys will see that when we load up and load out. As far as cup holders, there are 6 cup holders. There's 1 for each row, and then there's 2 over here. Again, I'm confident, you know, that these cars were designed by men, because this is a 15 passenger and 13 people in the back with 6 cup holders. Not quite sure what the thought concept was behind that. So it would have been nice if there were, you know, more cup holders. I don't know how much we'll be drinking in this vehicle because, again, it's not leather seats, but it still would have been nice to have more cup holders. The cool thing about the Transit is that all of the seats recline. So I don't know if you guys can see that on here, but they all recline. That is a huge plus, because for my big ones, it just has a little latch right here. You just pull it and it goes back. So for my big ones, they are able to put their seats back and relax. And now I can't get it back up. I don't know what I did. But they're able to sit their seats back and relax. I'm looking forward to taking vacations on this with this vehicle, because again, they're able to sit back, relax, chill out. They're not sitting up trying to get comfortable and your heads are like this. So even as adults, you can come back here, sit back, relax, and chill. So that's a good thing. If you notice, I have all of my headrests on. Unlike in the NV, the headrests in the Transit are much smaller. The windows, as you can see, are much wider and taller, partially because you have this higher roof. And so therefore, I have much better visibility out of my rear view mirror. Still not as great as a car, a minivan, or SUV, but a whole lot better than the Transit. So I'm sorry, the NV. So I'm able to keep all of our headrests on, which again makes for a better ride in this car. And I'm gonna try to, oh, there we go. All right, so again, that's kind of the inside of this vehicle. Also, outlets. There's only one outlet for charging that's back here, and it is on this side. So my concern, guys, is I have 4 big kids, and I can see this outlet being a huge issue in my life, and everybody fighting over this outlet. We have not installed a TV in this vehicle yet. We've talked about it. Not sure how that's going to work out. Would it have been a higher roof? But that is hopefully our goal, and hopefully that will help matters. But there is only this outlet back here. There's 2 charging ports in front, a USB and an audio port. So again, you're talking 15 people, 3 chargers. Not pretty at all. So do wish that was different, but we'll kind of work that out and see how that goes as we go along. Okay, so the other cool thing about the Transit is that it does not have storage space right here. So if you remember in the NV, I kind of had that big storage compartment right here in the middle. The Transit doesn't have that, and I love that because, and this is our secret, shh, don't tell anybody guys, it's just between us. What I find myself doing is, what my husband is driving, my baby is here, and I have my youngest of my toddlers here, they're crying, whatever is going on, I'm able to get up out of my seat and just walk back and sit here, because with 15 seats, I don't have a child occupying this seat. So I'm able to sit here and console my baby and deal with the toddler or whatever I need to do. So not having this compartment here and having this walkway, amen, great concept for a mother. Because you guys know, if you have a baby, we're having to get in the back seat and breastfeed or whatever we're having to do as we're traveling. And so having that has been a huge plus. If you have a rear facing car seat, you're still not going to have, you know, the room that you need to be able to put that car seat anywhere other than the window seat if you're going to use these 2 seats. But with it being a 15 passenger, you could still put your baby here and not have to worry about these 2 seats or anybody getting in them. Still have this walkway to get back and deal with your baby. So again, a great concept with the Transit. Okay, so just showing you the trunk again. This is the EcoBoost engine, and I think that the EcoBoost, I don't know if it's all the models that has the EcoBoost or if it's just the upgraded model that has the EcoBoost. But again, great for gas and things like that. So I'm just going to open this up and show you guys. Okay, so this, my friends, is your trunk space. Zero trunk space, zero, worse than the NV. So as I was telling you guys, there is a model above this one that has a higher roof. That model also comes in an extra long version, and so with that model you're getting an extra 3 feet behind your row, so you're getting about this much extra space of trunk space. That was one of the reasons that we were really considering that model, is because we would have been able to leave all 15 seats in and have a nice size trunk. But with that in mind, you're going to have an extra 3 feet of space. I mean, that's pretty much these doors being open, hanging off of the back of your vehicle. So not really feasible if you're like me and this is going to be your go-to vehicle that you're driving to the grocery store and things like that, having an extra 3 feet to kind of haul around, trying to find parking spaces and things like that. So keep that in mind. You do have that option, but it may be harder to drive that bad boy around. So yeah, that, I mean, you could put stuff, you know, under your seats or whatever. So what we will do is take out these 2 seats, and I'm going to show you. It's easy to take out, just like the Transit. Basically, you just pull these. So I'm going to get up here. And they have these 2 latches here. You just pull them and lift, and they come right out. And so what we will do is take these 2 seats out because we don't need them, and we'll use all of that middle row as our trunk space and storage space. So you do have that option if you don't need all 15 of the seats. I just took these out, and now you have this usable trunk space, or, you know, suitcase space or whatever. Okay, so let me show you this. So like the NV, the doors do swing all the way out if you need to load and unload, but I'm not sure, you know, unless you unbolt all the seats, you probably are not going to be hauling things around in this thing. So back to the towing, from my understanding, the Transit cannot tow as much weight as the NV. So if you're wanting to tow boats or RVs or things like that, you might want to consider, keep that in mind with towing. I don't believe the Transit can tow as much, but again, I'm not 100% sure on that. So if towing is important to you, you may want to research that. So yes, so that's the Transit. I'm gonna get my kids are gonna load up and show you what a ride is like in this thing.